Hi YouTube family. Today I want to talk about a certain kind of narcissist. It's the nice yet twisted narcissist. And the reason I want to talk about this, even though it seems like a lot of people have dealt with very mean and angry narcissists, very abusive narcissists, I want you to also understand that there are nice narcissists, but they are abusive. And a lot of times the victims of these narcissists don't even realize they've been abused. And in fact, they may still be in denial years or decades later that they were abused because the time with that narcissist seemed to be pretty intimate and close and loving even, right? And they mistook what the narcissist had done with them as a loving gesture. So another reason I want to bring this up is because a lot of times people will get involved with someone who seems like they're loving, seems like they care. That person seems like they're considerate, and they may not yell at you. They may not openly degrade you. I mean, you don't even know how they speak about you behind their back or behind your back. So you probably don't even see that they are degrading you. So you come out of this, and so long as you never hear about them smearing you, because remember, narcissists will smear you. They will make fun of you. Your lack of intelligence, your age, if you're a lot younger than they are, or even if you're a lot older than they are, they'll do that too. They'll smear you and criticize how old you are or how young and stupid you are. But not to your face. They'll do it to behind your face. Now, the reason I want to bring this up is because I read this article 2 days ago, and it was about Woody Allen and his teen lover, Christina Englehart. She is now 59 years old, and he had met her when she was 16. He was 41. And yes, she made the first move because he was this big star, big director, and he had made a couple of movies, and he's on the rise at that point, quite high. So she knew about him, and she was starstruck, and she was also an aspiring model in Manhattan. So she sees him at a restaurant and slips him a piece of paper with her name and phone number on it. So then he calls her, and within weeks, they are sexually involved. She's still 16 and hadn't turned 17 yet. She, I guess, turned 17 something like a month or two later after they had started having a sexual affair. And 17 is the legal age in New York at that point. So I'm not going to get into the legalities and how this was illegal when he started and all that and that kind of abuse. What I want to focus on is how she behaved and what she thought and what she still thinks. So she started off, completely taken by him because he was witty. I mean, to look at him, you think that's, okay, not my cup of tea. But I can understand being attracted to a man who's very intelligent, and some men also very attracted to women who are intelligent. However, he was witty, he was intelligent, he was high-flying, a lot of people knew him, he had power and pull in the entertainment industry. Now, he insists their relationship was that he would not help her with, I guess she wanted the Screen Actors Guild card, the SAG card, and he refused to help her with that. And he says to her, she recalls, he says it to her to drop it. And in a tone, or actually he tells her no in a tone that meant drop it. So she talks about how he manipulated. But she talks about how he controlled their relationship. He was the one who was in control of it. And they played by his rules. Now, she's a teenager, so of course she's going to follow his rules. He's this older father-like figure, although he's having sex with her. So I don't want to get into that kind of sexual abuse. She's now 59, and she still won't admit that was sexual abuse because, of course, she was willing. However, when you exert your authority over somebody who's not mature as you are, anyway, I don't want to, is a kind of a fuzzy line for some people, whether that's abuse or not. Definitely because of her age, I think that he completely manipulated her. But even regardless of her age, 4 years later, at 21 years old, they've still been having this affair, but it's secretive. So he in a way, because it wasn't public, but her friends that were closest to her knew about this. And probably friends that were closest to him knew about this. He even made a movie called Manhattan, which I never did see, but apparently it was about a 40-something-year-old guy falls in love with a teenager, did not fall in love. It seems like he was intrigued or something maybe by that teenager and used her as a plaything. So it was little more than just intrigue and a little, curiosity, I guess. And then he just used her as a fling. So apparently it comes out in a movie. And when she sees this movie, when Christina Englehart sees this movie, she says she cried through most of it because she was devastated that she saw herself in it. You know, she saw that she was the role of this person. Apparently, it also turned out there were other young women who saw themselves in that role in his life. So he was not having sex with just one teenager. He's having sex with multiple. So she also talked about how they had also had threesomes or whatever with other young women that he would bring over. So, okay, so here we are. Years later on, she's reflecting back, and she says she's not angry about it. She's not holding it against him, and she still likes him, or I don't know the whole deal there. I think she's in just complete denial that he abused her and used her, and that's essentially it. And maybe she used him too. Okay, but so 4 years into this relationship, which lasted 8 years, he comes to her and says, "I'm so excited. I want you to meet my new girlfriend." And she was shocked because she thought she was the girlfriend. She had no idea he was just having this fling with her. She had no idea that she was just a part in his life. Now she looks back and she realizes that he was not a part of her life. She was a player or just played a part in his life. And that's what she was. She talked about how he broke her in. You know, they would do drugs, I guess, smoke drugs, and then they would have these threesomes. You know, a lot of times they do get you drunk or get you doing drugs so that you lower your standards and you're willing to do things that normally you wouldn't have. And here, of course, she did. So, she stayed in this relationship for 8 years. She said she did admit that she should have left at that point, right then and there, when he introduced her to his new girlfriend, who turned out to be later on his wife, Mia Farrow, who then, so many other sexual issues there. He marries their adopted daughter when he was in his 50s. I think he was 57 and she was in her 20s. So they started their affair, I think when she was a freshman in college. So I would assume like maybe 18, 19 years old, and he was 57. I mean, anyway, they're still married. They're like 21, for 21 years or something like that now. But that's no testament to the fact that he loves her. I think that's more a testament of the fact that he's groomed her. He's taught this new, not absolutely new wife, but last wife, that he has groomed her to accept his sexual appetites. And she agrees to it and thinks this is normal. And I think just like Christina Englehart, she probably doesn't realize that this is not a good and loving and honest type of relationship, or a whole I don't know how to put it, how it's that it would envelop all the commitment and love and actual emotional entanglement. Anyway, so I just wanted to cover this because you may find yourself in a relationship where you think this person's really nice and they're kind and they seem like they're generous. They don't yell at you or anything like that, but they do groom you. You realize that maybe, that you are a lot younger than they are. I think that happens probably most of the time, is that they're a lot older than you, or they're a lot more worldly. They have a lot more experience. So you come in as new and inexperienced, and you don't question that maybe, oh, this might be the way things are supposed to be. And she even said that she became sophisticated at this game. So she thinks this is sophistication, getting groomed to have threesomes and doing drugs in order to feel like having these threesomes. And that's not sophisticated. To me, that's manipulation. And you don't become sophisticated at it. She became, anyway, I don't want to get into what that stands for. But I wanted to bring that out and let you see that, narcissists do break you in. They do groom you. He did the same thing with Mia. He groomed her, is what Christina Englehart says in her interview, that he groomed Mia. By the time he got involved with their adopted daughter, she said, of course Mia got upset and everything, but she was essentially groomed to accept all these sexual twisted things that he liked to do, and it got to the point where he had no more boundaries. He betrayed her in this way, so devastatingly, going after their own adopted child. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that story. I just wanted to show you that, be careful of these guys too, because even if they, or women, even if they act like you're their love or whatever, they will drop you when you're no longer convenient. Or they will get you so used to you and make you accept their lifestyle. And this is what I'm assuming is happening with his current wife, is that she's learned to accept his sexual appetites. And so she doesn't realize that there's something terribly wrong with this relationship. She thinks this is normal. So until, of course, the day he drops her, or the day she's had enough and he goes after an even younger woman, or he probably has already, but that, he would go after someone that would finally add, wake her eyes to the fact that he's been insulting her intelligence, insulting her boundaries, insulting her as a person, and showing her that she, again, also, like all the other women in his life, has just been a plaything to him. So apparently he came out with another movie, I forget what it's called, it was in the article somewhere, where there is a guy in his 40s who falls in love, or not falls in love, I'm sorry, I keep using that term, but has a fling with a 15-year-old. So only, even here in I guess it was released in 2017, even now he's making movies about the same theme. So, he's not hiding it so well, right? Like what really going on in his life. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that there are clues a narcissist will put out there. You may not catch on that these clues mean that they're abusing you, or they're mistreating you, or that you're just a plaything to them and you don't really mean much to them. You may not notice that, but you get wiser and you'll start to see, if you start to realize, when you start implementing or re-implementing your standards. Christina Englehart described the end of their relationship as frustrating and sorrowful. And that's how it ends with a narcissist. She finally left because she was frustrated and she was so grieved by his philandering with these other women. And of course, she finally came to the realization she didn't mean that much to him as she thought. So, when you find yourself as a plaything to somebody else, or, it's hard to admit it. It's hard to be real with yourself. But I wanted to explain to you that a good relationship is something where you're partners. You share in each other's lives. You're a part of his life. He's a part of your life. It's not split and so imbalanced as one person controls everything and the other person is just someone who comes alongside and fulfills certain needs and then goes away. And that person is not allowed to talk about what their needs are. And that's how she felt she knew there were rules that they had to play by, his rules, and she was not supposed to cross those boundaries. But he crossed all over her boundaries as an individual, as a person. So this is what I wanted to warn you about. If you find someone crossing your boundaries, you need to get away from that. And it is not a healthy situation. So YouTube family, I hope that this has helped you. I hope this helps you to identify a toxic relationship, one that's not going anywhere, that's good for you, and that you need to get out. And if you found this to be helpful, please subscribe, please comment, and let me know what you think. I hope that you have a great day. I wish you lots of health and wholeness, and I will talk to you soon.